What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, the Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and we got to talk about this last episode, Pluribus episode 8, because it kind of went from this creepy little alien vibe to this straight up cosmic type of horror situation here, where I believe that the hero most likely is truly the villain in this show. And yes, I am talking about Carol. Carol! That's my girl, Carol, right? But we see her sitting in the diner, eating her eggs. She thinks she's got a friend in the waitress. She stands up to leave, and the cars just stop outside. The whole universe hits the pause button. And the main character, well, she just walks kind of right out of the room. This, to me, is the hive-mind getting lazy. You know, they ain't even trying to hide this simulation anymore at all, right? But today, we are deep diving on this episode. We finally know how these joined weirdos are talking to each other. We know what they're building, and we gotta talk about why Carol, as I said earlier, is going to be the biggest villain in this show. But before we do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for your boy. 500 is the like goal. Subscribe to the channel and share this across the realm. Let's start right off the bat. Chapter 1, the science. So the big reveal, how do they communicate? It isn't magic, it isn't ghosts, it's bioelectricity, baby. Zosha breaks it down. Every time your heart beats, every time a neuron fires in that thick skull of yours, you're putting out an electromagnetic field. These aliens, they basically dropped a software update into our DNA that turned everybody into a walking, talking 5G tower. They're a mesh network. No dead zones, no roaming charges, just pure, unadulterated we aspect on this whole situation. Now, but here is the kicker. That so-called psychic glue they talked about, it's just a frequency. And you know what happens to a frequency when you hit it with some static. It straight up breaks. Carol is that static. When she gets mad, she's basically like an EMP. She's a biological glitch in this whole fucking system. She's one bad day, one temper tantrum away from messing up all their plans and killing everybody, but the hive mind knows this. That's why they must placate her, and we'll get back to that. Chapter 2, the real truth. Now let's talk about what they're eating, or should I say, who they're eating. We see a nurse in this episode sipping on a little juice box labeled HDP, or should I say, human-derived protein. Fam, they are drinking people. If you didn't make the cut, if your body rejected the joining, you aren't going to the cemetery, you're going into a blender. They're recycling the failures to feed the successes. It's efficient, but it sure is cold-blooded. Why do they do this? Because they're building a giant-ass antenna to shout back out to Kepler 22b. They're using the Earth like a burner phone from The Wire. Once they send that text message back to the mothership, do you think they care if the battery also dies then? We are the battery, and the battery at this particular time is running pretty low. Chapter 3, Zosha and the dilemma she presents. Now, let's get a little bit messy about this show. Let's talk about the romance that everybody wanted to see, Carol and Zosha. Now, I told you this was going to happen. People denied it, but it happened as I told you. We see they're getting close, and now they're getting intimate. Carol is even rewriting her book to make the lead a woman because she's feeling all these vibes she's putting out right now. But let's keep it 100 on this situation. Zosha is a part of the hive. When she kisses Carol, is that Zosha Or is that 7 billion people trying to manipulate the one person who could shut them all down? And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Carol so-called saves the world and breaks the hive. If she does that, what happens to Zosia? Zosia came from a rough life. And I mean, listen, she was broke, poverty, living in Poland. Dirty ass. We seen her in the beginning, dirty as fuck. She likes being in this hive mind. She don't want to go back to that life. Who do? Nobody. I wouldn't want to go back to that. If Carol frees her, Zosia might wake up and realize straight up, this woman tricked her, right? Into a relationship. This woman just gassed her into this whole situation. She might just hate Carol for bringing her back to the world where she has to be hungry and lonely again. Carol is most likely going to be scared. She's thinking, if I free her, she's going to leave me. If I keep her like this, she isn't really mine. That is the toxicity of this relationship, and one for the ages, folks. Chapter 4, Manny. Now, we gotta talk about our boy Manny. In this episode, Manny just had surgery in Panama after getting wrecked in the jungle. Most people would be laid up for maybe 4 to 6 months or something like this, watching Netflix or whatever streaming service you like, Apple TV, if it was me, but not our boy Manny. This man wakes up from surgery, looks at the nurses, who are all a part of this hive mind. Mind you, he basically says, keep the change and I'm out of here. He's trying to pay for his medical bills with cash. Listen, cash is king. I understand what he's trying to do. He's writing apology notes for siphoning too much gas. Manny is the only dude left on Earth still worried about his goddamn credit score, while the rest of the world is sharing one brain. He's 31 kilometers from the border, walking on a leg that's basically held together by alien spit and some prayers, scavenging for food at the local churches. He's doing it in the hard way because he refuses to accept the handout from the others. That's a true real one right there. But I have to be honest. He's walking into a tree. See, Zosia already got the ping on her biophone that he's on his way. Carol's old life is about to crash into her new life. And when it does, it's gonna be kind of awkward. Chapter 5, the kiss. Now, in the hive, saliva is how they spread this virus. A kiss just isn't a kiss. It's more like a data transfer. Is Zosia actually into Carol? We don't know that. For all we know, maybe she is into her, but the hive mind doesn't have a gender. The hive mind is just we. If the hive thinks Carol needs a girlfriend to stay quiet and stop causing those rage EMPs, the hive will become the perfect girlfriend. It's the ultimate gaslight situation. Carol is lonely. She's desperate for touch, and the hive is giving her exactly what she wants so she doesn't notice the giant phone home antenna out there to sell out everything else going on this planet, and she's just concerned about herself. Carol is being loved into submission. It's brilliant, it's kind of cold, and it's honestly pathetic to watch Carol fall for it. Chapter 6, the bloodbath in New Mexico. Now, we gotta get into the heavy stuff. Now, we've been talking about the science. We've been talking about these so-called protein shakes, the Brenda blend, right? But we haven't talked about the human element that is going to blow this whole thing sky high. Now, Manny, 31 kilometers away from the border. He's coming for Carol. He's the visitor the hive warned her about. Now, think about this. Manny is the old world. He's the guy who pays his bills, follows the rules, and remembers Carol as she was. Zosia is the new world. She's the hive. She's the we are the world in that whole sense of the song. And she's the one currently sharing a bed, cuddling up with Carol. This isn't just love. This is not a love triangle. This is a battle for Carol's soul. And let me tell you, it's not going to end with a handshake. It's going to end in bloodshed. So let's look at the darkest possibility that happens here first. And that is Carol kills Manny. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tony, Carol is the protagonist. She's the hero. Is she really? In episode 8, we see her getting comfortable. She's got the house, she's got the gourmet meals, and she's got her girlfriend. And she's finally not lonely. Then, out of nowhere, Manny walks through the door. He's dirty, he's limping, and he represents the truth. He's going to tell Carol this isn't real. This girl isn't yours. This world is a lie. And if Carol is deep enough into that joiner sauce, she might see Manny as a threat to her happiness. If Manny tries to save her by taking away her girlfriend, Carol might just snap. She might protect her perfect little lie by killing the only man who truly knows what she truly needs. Imagine that, killing the last real human connection you have because you rather be loved by a meat puppet. That's a villain story, and that could be Carol's story. But there is a different way it could go. So let's flip it a little bit. Let's talk about Manny. See, Manny, as we know, is a man of principle. He's seen the horror. He knows the turning people into protein drinks. When Manny sees Carol being groomed by this woman, he's not going to see a romance. He's going to see a parasite. Manny might decide the only way to wake Carol up is to remove the distraction. Manny is going to realize that Zosia is the anchor keeping Carol in the hive's orbit. And if he kills Zosia, the hive loses its grip on Carol. Manny might see it as a mercy killing, taking out the thing that used to be a girl to save his new friend. But here's kind of like the kicker. If Manny kills Zosia in front of Carol, Carol is never going to go back to normal. She's gonna go full-blown electromagnetic nuclear. And that rage we talked about, it would explode. Manny might kill the girl to save the friend, only to have the friend use her bioelectric static to fry his brain and maybe half of the hive mind. How to win. So here is the blueprint I see on how to win this whole thing. We saw what happened when Zosia's heart stopped. The link broke. She became I once again. If Carol wants to save the world, she has to kill the hive's power source. She has to find a way to create a global electrical surge. But here's the drama. If she does that, she's going to lose the version of Zosia she loves. She'll be left with the real Zosia, a woman who might be traumatized, a woman who has scars on her back, and who might look at Carol and say, "Who the hell are you? Why are you touching me? I ain't even gay." Carol is keeping Zosia joined because it's the only way Zosia will stay with her. That's the truth. Carol is miserable. She's good looking, but she's miserable. And nobody want to be around that shit. So we know the hive is using bioelectricity, right? They are communicating on an electromagnetic frequency. But here's the $1 million question. What actually stops radio waves. Now, in the real world, you want to kill a signal, you got three options. There's absorption, reflection, or interference. Absorption, that's like lead paint or thick concrete. The wave hits and it just gets kind of soaked up. Reflection, that's a Faraday cage. You wrap a room in copper mesh and the signal just bounces off like, no thank you. Interference, that's the jammer. This is the big one for this show. To jam a signal, you don't block it, you drown it out. You broadcast noise on the exact same frequency so the actual message gets lost in the static. Now let's apply that method, which I think is the most likely, to this show. Why is Carol immune? It's not that she's special. Scientifically, Carol's brain is acting like a high-powered jammer. Now let's think about that. Every time the hive tries to ping her brain to becoming her new self, her unique chemistry driven by that massive human ego and raw emotion that she has, broadcasts a counter signal. She's essentially walking around with a built-in Faraday cage made out of pure spite. This is why episode 8 shows that she is this dangerous. The hive realizes they can't broadcast to Carol, so they're trying to retune her. They're using Zosia to lower Carol's interference. When Carol is happy, when she's calm, when she's in love, her internal jammer turns down the volume. They are trying to get her to lower her shields so that the Kepler 22b signal can finally slide all the way in. The cage theory. So let me break this down about the cage, because some of y'all might be asking, Tony, if the hive is global and the signal is everywhere, how has Carol stayed clean for so long? So in science, we call this the Faraday cage. It's an enclosure used to block electromagnetic fields. If you take a conductive material like, say, copper or aluminum and wrap it around the space, the external electrical charges stay on the outside and never reach the interior. Your car is a Faraday cage. An elevator is a Faraday cage. That's why your cell service drops to 0 the second the door closes. Now, look at Carol's house in episode 8. It's not just a house. We can consider this some type of fortress. Notice how the hive, the others, are always standing outside on the lawn. Notice how they had to rebuild her favorite diner from the ground up. Now, it's a stretch, I will say that 100%, but it's possible that Carol's house is on top of something there that is making their signal not strong enough. Something is going on. Now, the hive itself is not trying to break into this cage. They're trying to get Carol, kind of like vampires, to invite them in. And Zosia is their Trojan horse. And this is why Zosia being inside the house is a game changer. Remember, we said about radio waves, the only way to get a signal inside a cage is to put a repeater on the inside. Now, Zosia isn't just a guest. She's a biological antenna. By bringing Zosia into her home, into her bed, into her heart, Carol has effectively brought the hive inside her shielded place, inside the cage. And this is a compromised situation. And this brings us all the way back to Manny versus Zosia. And I don't give a goddamn if I'm saying her name right or wrong. You know who I'm talking about. There could be a couple of scenarios how this plays out. Scenario number 1. Manny realizes the house is a safe zone on this planet. He sees her as a leak, and Manny killing Zogia isn't murder. It's more of he's plugging the leak and he wants to turn the cage back on. Scenario number 2. The Hive uses Zogia to map Carol's brain. Once they have the blueprint, they don't need the house anymore. They can broadcast directly to her. This could get Carol to kill Manny or Manny to kill Zogia. A whole lot of things can come out of this situation. But you tell me what you think in the comment section. How do you think this is all going to play out? I want to hear from you. And I will be live tonight on the live stream where you can call in, speak to me, and fill the issues guide and tell us about all of your theories. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.